Okay, hello there, everybody. Welcome to my voice reveal, as well as a new little section, I guess you can call it. Obviously, I'm turning this not quite exclusively, if at all really, into a book channel. Obviously, sometimes. But yeah, let's just get into it. So who am I? For those of you who don't know, my name, quote unquote, is Fly, and I use she, her pronouns. I am from West Virginia, which is right here. Lovely little state sometimes. I am currently an honors student at this little university, although my major or majors is up for debate. I'm kind of testing the waters right now in my second semester, so we'll see how that goes. It's currently not going well, but we're only 3 weeks in, so we'll see. As well as minors are still a little unsure of. I'm a little bit of a gamer, as we have, or well, some of you may have seen my Terraria Legendary series, which, because of my lack of skills, I've kind of abandoned, but also because I got busy. I did get busy. So, I might go back to that, at some point. And then a reader, obviously, which is why we're making this little area of, the internet, with minimal literacy skills. I'm a pretty simple kind of gal, I read not into what the meaning of anything is, but I like books anyways. And then kind of a wannabe, honestly, because I'm on a Microsoft PowerPoint. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But don't be expecting quality from me. So yeah, what is this? Obviously, it's a little book channel, whether it's like reviews or not, I'm not quite sure. But the point is, I like books, and I've always wanted like a book journal or like a fun book tracker, but like typical ones never did it for me because I was always too scared to ruin it, or like it was just too daunting. And then despite taking a whole class on it, I don't know how to use Excel. So spreadsheets are not my kind of thing. But PowerPoints are. Love me a good PowerPoint. Maybe I should go for graphic design. Anywho, so yeah, I just wanted like a fun way to, talk about what I'm reading and why I like it and why I don't and all that good stuff, I guess. So, yeah. So previous challenges, let's get into that. I started reading back in like 2020, when the whole world shut down because, I was in a new school and I had no friends. So why not read to keep me company? I don't know if I have any records of 2020 through 2021 of what I read, although I know there was like a fair amount that I read, not quite this much. But yeah, so let's discuss what happened through here. 2022 would have been sophomore year of high school, I think. Like sophomore into junior, junior into senior, which is when I took AP Lit, and then senior year to graduation to kind of present day. We're halfway through February almost already. So, take that as you will. 2022 was, whoa, spoiler alert! Don't look at that. It wasn't necessarily my most serious attempt, but, it was still pretty fun. The next year, I was really into it. I happened to pick up a lot of good series, a series, so that really, really helped. Also, along with these, I had a pretty good job over summer that I was allowed to, maybe not preferred, but allowed to read whenever I was there. So, and wasn't working with people. But then the senior year, it went downhill, man. I don't know. I think graduation took it out of me, and I was, I had a couple months off before starting back into college, or starting college, and I wanted to waste that. So let's look at what I read those years. I can tell you that these 3 were specifically for class, and honestly, loved them all. This one, not so much, but it was still really fun. Let's see here. This one's becoming a movie soon. Really excited for that. And now, look at here. We have some reoccurring names. Well, this one, not yet, but we will see more of him. Here's where it gets fun, though. We start the second, series. Can I go back? There we go. Yeah, the second series I've ever actually started and, read. And then some more, reoccurring authors, which I didn't realize I read these 3 all in 1 year. That's interesting. Anywho, some more, at this point, this was me scrambling to try and hit my goal of 30, because, not that, graphic novels are any less, lesser forms of reading. It's just, to my standards, I think, it has to be at least 150-ish pages, give or take, to count as a novel, which I think these 2 were. This one, maybe not so much. And I only read Dr. Jekyll. What? Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? Okay, whatever. I only read that story, none of his other stories, which, whatever. I need to... Okay, we're not gonna worry about that. So then, this was senior year. We read Frankenstein, Jekyll and Hyde, and The Stranger, and then Lord of the Flies that year. These 2 were rereads, obviously. And some more Aiden Thomas. Those were, we have another bookshelf. Prior to 2025, these are all the books I have started but didn't finish. So, Dracula, I got a chapter in, decided it was too daunting, and I put it down. And this one, I have 1 chapter left, so it's not going to count really for this year. Although I will try and finish that. these two, I don't know if I'll ever get back into. I don't think I quite care for them as much right now, but yeah, whatever. Oh my gosh. Sorry if the audio is horrible, by the way. I'm sorry. I'm just a girl. So what's the goal with this? Well, besides, reaching out, I guess, and becoming more involved in the literary works I consume, we have read 25 books this year, which, honestly, if we look back on my previous histories, isn't too difficult, or, impossible. Obviously, there was the little stunt in 2024, but I know that the pace I'm moving towards is doable, and I will have a textbook I can throw in there too, so that's fun. Oh, my phone just went off. Sorry if y'all heard that. Similarly, stay consistent. I guess that's probably, again, something that held me back last year. Just not keeping myself up to the challenge. But now I have about 2-ish weeks per book. I can tell you now, it's not going great. Spoiler alert, I have read only one so far in a month and a half, but that's okay. I can make that up pretty quickly, I think. Though, again, I am a full-time student, and I'm taking a week-and-a-half trip next month, which I'm very excited for. And so, obviously, my priorities are those, but, I gotta step back from the boring reading and, indulge in some fantasy. And then, speaking of fantasy, branch out. So, if we looked at my bookshelves, I think there's a pretty obvious trend of what I like. And, I think I just need more. Get out of my comfort zone a little bit, read some more, different things, obviously. And so then more diverse authors too. I noticed there's a lot of men on my bookshelf. So we gotta give the ladies some love. So we have 10 different genres, which is gonna be pretty loose, honestly, on what I consider genres, but it's not that serious, guys. Come on. And then picking out some of my own books. For many, many, many a year, I have pretty much got all my recommendations from, online, or, Book Talk, or, what's the other one? Bookstagram, I think. Nothing wrong with that. I love those communities, most of the time. But I think thinking for yourself is a pretty valuable skill. And so, even if it's something as simple as picking out a book that, maybe is a hidden gem or hasn't gotten much love, is a pretty good thing to do. I don't know. Annotating and researching. Kind of what it says, let me see what one's next. Okay, so this one and the next one kind of go together. Let's just look at that one then. 2 projects. So, I don't really know how to go about this. For example, one of the books I read, The Spirit Bears Its Teeth by Andrew Joseph White, easily one of my favorites, has a lot of medical terminology in it. And And so a project for that one could have been like, oh, every instance of medical terminology, figure out what it means and like how it relates, I guess. Like, I actually have it here next to me. It is on my favorites bookshelf. Let me see. Maybe I can reread this one too. For what it's worth, the trip I'm taking is London. And so that might be one of my goals, is to like read something that takes place over there to get into the to get into the whatevers. You know what, I might just give up on figuring out what I'm looking for. But I promise it's out there. It's out there. But just really get into what I'm reading. And as for the Sunbearer Trials PowerPoint, it was for a class and I had to read it for an event and talk about it. Although I didn't talk about it, I just sent her the PowerPoint and that was it. But it also could be like 6 months reviews, like, oh, how many books have I read January through June? Or even this, honestly. I don't know. I don't know. And then give some away! I'm a pretty big hoarder. And so getting rid of a bunch of books that I've bought and like didn't like or whatever will definitely help me and other people, because I just don't need all of them. And actually, I have boxed a whole bunch up already. I didn't keep track of any of them. I just kind of decided, nope, didn't like this, or just knew I wasn't going to do it. I haven't get them away though yet, so maybe I could get them out and jot down what I've gotten rid of. But yeah, I don't know. But what about now? So yeah, I didn't really know what to put for this section to like lead us into where we are now, but here is my current bookshelf. I love it very much. I am a pretty firm believer that it should be in rainbow order because it's so pretty. I'm also a collector of Littlest Pet Shops, and so you can see them all there. But then let's get into this. So favorites are pretty difficult. Like, oh, I heard something outside. That's not good. Anywho, like, take for example a television show. I don't have a favorite necessarily because all of those characters bring something to the show. If it wasn't for so-and-so, the show wouldn't be that show. And so I like all of the characters. Though, you know, I still do have my preferences. My preferred genre is really anything fiction. Love me a little good love story too. Like, let me look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-ish, maybe? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15-ish, 16-ish of these books all have like a love subplot or like main plot, I guess. And so I love a little good love story. It replaces what I don't want in real life. Anywho, then favorite authors are obviously, as if we looked at the bookshelves, T.J. Klune and Andrew Joseph White. Although I actually meant to put up a picture of my favorites bookshelf, but we can see some Klune here, and I think that's actually it, because the rest of them are on my favorites bookshelf. And then I don't know what else is my favorites. I don't know. Yeah. Then my current bookshelf, of this year, like I said, I've only read one book in a month and a half. Although it did tick some boxes. That box being a new genre. This is a holiday or Christmas book, as per the title. And honestly, it was so fun, and I would totally recommend it, given it's not 70 degrees outside. If it's 70 degrees outside, don't read it. If you receive an unexpected, like, 2 feet of snow outside, like we did here, definitely read it. Because it really sets the tone and, like, the atmosphere of the book. Oh, spoiler alert! But then what am I reading right now? Right now I am reading Somewhere Beyond the Sea by, shocker, Mr. Klune. It is the sequel to The House in the Cerulean Sea, wherein the two main characters, Arthur and Linus, are fighting a very corrupt government for the rights to their children. Spoiler alert, if you haven't read the first one. It's utterly consumed me, and I love this little world that he's built for these guys, and yeah. Yeah. So I guess that brings us to our end here. If you stuck around for the whole thing and had any questions, feel free to ask, or like, oh, you read this? Tell me about it. Although, gonna be frank, probably don't remember much of it, but I can definitely attempt to do that. Or if, like, anything wants to be seen on here, let me know. But other than that, I guess that will bring us to the end. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out. Bye-bye.